بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا والصلوات الله والسلام على نبينا الأمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. As the Imam here at Masjid As-Sunnah in Kissimmee, Florida, and on behalf of our community and our director who is here, Mahmoud As-Salat, he's my boss with the hot sauce right there. We want to welcome all of you brothers who came from Minnesota today, first day of September 2024. And you made an effort to come to visit us in our masjid here. Coming to Florida, Florida is a place of the dunya, Mickey Mouse, Disney World, Universal Studios, the weather, the beaches, all of that. And all that is cool in the game. We don't have a problem with that. But I'm happy to see you brothers here in our masjid. Welcome all of you. Although you're late like that, because I talked to my brother Abdul Malik, and Abdul Malik, he promised that you would get here earlier, but I figured what was it going to be. And we're going to talk about that very quickly in these few words that we want to share with you. I've traveled all over the world giving dawah in Allah in the last 30 years. And I've had an opportunity to travel to those countries where the Somali Shabab and the Somali community is present. And to be perfectly honest with you, and I say this not to blow smoke of anybody's ist, but the Somali community has a lot of positive qualities. Two extremes with the Somali community. You find the best of the best, and you find the worst of the worst. The diaspora. Diaspora is when a person comes from a particular place, a country, and then they find themselves growing up and living in another country. It's what happened to African Americans. It's one of the biggest problems that my people have. But I'm proud to be African American because we have a lot of positive qualities and characteristics. The whole world follows us as it relates to style and music and things like that. They follow us. But there are things about my culture and my people that are a problem. And unfortunately, there's the same thing that's happening with the Somali community. So I've been with the Somali community in North America, obviously here, Minnesota, Ohio, San Diego, those three main places. In the UK, a lot of Somalis. In Denmark, Switzerland, Sweden, Norway. So I got a pretty good feel for the challenges that face the Somali community. Recently, I started watching this program on YouTube about the Somalis in Minnesota, where they have this program called Bolo, where some of the most wanted people in Minnesota are Somali Muslims. I want to call them the N-word. You know the N-word that I'm talking, because they're straight up N-words, those guys. You know that phrase where they said Black Lives Matter? I don't say that from the angle of the Marxist lesbian women who are thieves who started that group. They stole a lot of money. They're Marxists. They're lesbians. But I say Black Lives Matter from the angle of the way the police in this country police African Americans. They'll shoot us in the face. They'll say to one of our women, I'll shoot you in your effing face, and go ahead and shoot her in her face and then get off of it. He'll get off of the charges. I always tell people when I was in the UK, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, to make the people of the UK sensitive to what we have to deal with here in America. But I'll be honest with you. Black lives don't matter to the Bloods and the Crips. Black lives don't matter to the people who are doing drill music, Julio and those other knuckleheads who I hate with a passion. I hate those people with a passion. that anti-social social behavior of that music and those people. I know, and I don't know most of you, but I say, wallahi billahi, tallahi, everybody here knows someone close to us, from our relatives and people we know, who were like just animals, smoking, drinking, and killing people for no reason. And unfortunately, I saw this disease that has hit the Somali community, where, again, two extremes. One extreme is positive, and that is the Somali community has shuyukh, huffaz, who have memorized the Quran, talabatul ilm, who are good. And now this upcoming generation of Salafi brothers, and I'm not talking about the hardcore Salafi brothers, SP and those people like that. No, I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the balanced Salafi brothers, like Abdurrahman Hassan, like Abu Taymiyyah, like Yasin Munyeh, like those brothers. Young brothers who have memorized the Quran and they're giving dawah. Good and the best of the best. Any community you go to where there are Somalis, you will find that collectively, generally speaking, the women who have the best hijab are the Somali community. Somali people, wherever you go, they're going to build duxis wherever you go. As it relates to the hijab, that doesn't mean every Somali girl wears hijab. I saw Somali girls throwing themselves at Drake when he was in Canada. They wanted to be groupies. They were throwing themselves on his car and all that kind of stuff, ready to go with him and hang out with him. But generally speaking, you look at any community, the best dressed women in that community are the Somali women, generally speaking. Hey man, dig yourself with that bottle. Gets into my central nervous system. Stop squeezing that bottle. You could drink from the bottle, but don't squeeze it. So that's the best of the best. And then you find the worst of the worst. And I don't have to give you examples, because you all know. You all know people who've been shot. You all know people who've been killed. You all know people who, girls, Somali girls who get on the internet and who dance and the way they act. Straight up inwards, straight up and down, like 6 o'clock. But you, brothers, are an example, inshallah, of what's positive from the Somali community. You have to keep that stuff up. Which brings me to the issue of what I wanted to talk to you about for the next few minutes. I want you to stop me, inshallah, at 1:45. Bi-idhnillah. Just do like that, okay? I'm going to stop. I want to share with all of you a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The reason why I'm sharing this hadith with you all is I want you brothers being young to be serious about your religion. Be serious. There is a Somali sheikh. His name is Nasburaya. He wrote the book Nasburaya. And it comes from a place in Somali called, we'll look up Nasburaya al-Zaylai. Yeah, he's Somali sheikh. Wrote one of the most important hadith books in the dunya. It's from Somalia. I want you brothers to be on al-Islam according to the Quran and the Sunnah and the understanding of the Salaf of this Ummah. Not Sufism, not Takfirism, not the Madkhaliism, not being extreme, but on the Sunnah. Loving the Sunnah and the way of the Sunnah and the people of the Sunnah. This hadith was collected by Imam al-Bukhari and Muslim. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam came to his companions who were sitting there and he said, Inna min al-shajara, shajaratin مثلها كمثل المسلم لا تسقط ورقها حدثوني ما هي. He said, there is a tree, and that tree is similar to the believer. Tell me, what tree is that? So the people in the audience from his companions started guessing what tree it was. This one said, it's the cactus tree. He said, it's that tree. He said, it's that tree. He said, it's that tree. And then the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, innaha hiya nakhla. It is the date palm tree. The date palm tree. And he got up and he left. The tremendous companion Abdullah ibn Umar, one of the 6 people who narrated the majority of the hadith, and he was young, he said to his father, Umar, Ya Abi, Wallahi, when the Prophet asked that question, I thought it was the date palm tree and I wanted to say it. His father, Umar, said, why didn't you say it? If you would have said the answer in front of the community, I'd have been proud of you. I'd have been the happiest man. It would have been better than having a red camel. He said, Abi, I looked at Abu Bakr and I looked at you, and you two were quiet, so I was shy and I was quiet. This is a tremendous hadith because it goes to show how Abdullah ibn Umar had respect for the elders. He wasn't like the young people are today, who speak with disrespect to the imam and the shuyukh, the people of their family, their fathers, their mothers. They don't give a damn how they behave and how society looks at them. Umar said to Abdullah ibn Umar, if you would have said it and it was right, that would have made me proud as your father. All you shabab have a responsibility to make your parents proud. Don't be the guy who gets locked up, the one who's drunk like a skunk out in the street, gets arrested, kills someone, has a baby out of wedlock. Don't be that guy. Be the one who was the first one from his family that got a college degree. Be the one who did something where the people in Minnesota, wherever you guys come from in Minnesota, they'll look at you and point fingers and say, look at the son of so-and-so. Look what he did. He opened up a business and he became successful in his business. Don't be like them in guys in Minnesota who are animals. They're the ones who shot the man at the local store, another older Somalian guy. He killed him for what? He just wanted to rob him, get something to drink, buy something to smoke. The other issue I want to bring to your attention is about our religion. Those companions, they are the example for us. What Abu Bakr and what Umar did and said, that's the religion. So anything and any time you see, like over there in Somali, one of the problems in Somali challenges is Shabbat. I had experience in the UK and other than that with the fitna of a Shabbat. We don't apologize about anything in our religion, from alif to ya, anything. We don't apologize about jihad. But in jihad, there are ahkam, there are adab. Jihad in Islam is with knowledge, not fawda and confusion. I know a kid in Somali, a kid in Manchester, in the Masjid of Muhammad Ali. You guys know Muhammad Ali, Masjid Furqan? I know a kid who memorized the Quran. His 2 twin sisters traveled over to Syria. Somali girls traveled to Syria. And when they traveled to Syria, both of them got married to the mujahideen over there without their father's knowledge. Parents didn't even know they went over there. When the father went over there to get him, those guys were going to kill the father. And it was crazy because those 2 girls threw their lives away. They were good students in the UK. So as it relates to our religion is not based upon any group, al-i'tisam, al-ittihad, this or that. It's based upon what the companions did. And at the front of the list, Abu Bakr and Umar. One of the great ulama of the Salaf and the people of Hadith, his name is Hamza ibn Abdullah as-Sukkari. He said the meaning of Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim, guide us to the Sirat al-Mustaqim. He said the meaning of that is Tariqatu Abi Bakr and Umar, guide us to the way of Abu Bakr and Umar. It's the meaning of the Sirat al-Mustaqim. Guide us to the straight way, the way of those companions. Now, as it relates to the hadith itself, this is what I really want to share with you, brothers. He said the example of the believer is like the example of the date palm tree. I think all of you know where the date palm tree is, right? That date palm tree is in Somalia. Although the dates over there, when you bite them, they break your teeth. You know, the dates in Africa are rough. How is the believer like the date palm tree? And this is from the good ways in which Rasulullah used to teach people. He taught people in different ways. In this case, he taught them by giving an example. You want to teach people something, you give them an example. He says, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, al-a'id fi hibatihi kal-kalb fi qaydihi. If you give a gift to someone, you give him a gift, and then you come and you take that gift back. He said that's like a dog who vomits and then he licks his vomit up. Anybody who has experience with a dog, akramakumullah. Growing up, I used to like dogs growing up as a kafir. If I found a dog in the street, I would bring it home. My mother said, you better get that dog out of here. But every time I found a dog, I liked them dogs. I wasn't into cats. If you know anything about a dog, whenever he spits up and he vomits, don't get excited. He vomits on the carpet, don't get excited. Don't jump up to go clean it. That dog, by his nature, is going to walk around that vomit 3 times, sniff it, and then lick it all up. So the Prophet said, anyone who gives a gift to someone and then comes and takes that gift back is like that dog. That's his way of saying giving a gift and taking it back is haram. He could have just said that, but he wanted to show how nasty it was. You give a gift and you take it back, you're like a dog who vomits and you lick up your vomit. They call that darbul amthal, giving examples so people can learn. وَتِلْكَ الْأَمْثَالُ نَضْرِبُهَا لِلنَّاسِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Those are the examples that we give to the people in the hopes that they would understand. Rasulullah taught the people by giving examples of stories. He taught people, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by getting up on the minbar, 3 steps. Everybody who's sitting down will be able to see him talking, because seeing and listening is better than just listening alone. He used to bury people. When he would bury people, he would look up in the sky while they were burying. Why would he look up in the sky? To let the people know that Allah is not here, that Allah is over his throne in a way that befits his majesty. So he would always look up in the sky. He used to do that a lot. He would get a stick and he would draw lines in the sand, a long line, and he would say, Hada siratullah mustaqim. This is Allah's path. It's straight and it's long. And then he would take that same stick and he'd draw short lines to the right, short lines to the left. And then he would say, وَهَذِهِ السُّبُلُ عَلَى كُلِّ سَبِيلٍ مِنْهَا شَيْطَانٌ يَدْعُو إِلَيْهِ. He said, and these right here, the short diversion paths. These are the short paths. On the head of every one of these paths is the shaitan calling you to it. Stay on the sirat of Allah that's long and mustaqim. Not your job to arrive at the end of the line. You may die before that. It's your job, it's my job, to stay on the line. Stay on the line. And don't try to make shortcuts. How is the shortcut? Sufism, takfir, making bid'ah of everybody, doing things that are not the right way. Liberalism, feminism, all of that whackness. Just stay on a straight line. The Sirat al-Mustaqim. So the point is, he used to teach in multiple ways. One of the ways he used to teach was asking questions to make people use their own brains. There is a tree That tree resembles the believer. What tree is that? And the people started guessing what the tree was. And they all got it wrong. And then he told them it's the nakhla. The believer is like the date palm tree. Now the question is, how is the believer like the date palm tree? That's the question. That's what I want to share with you, brothers. The believer is like the date palm tree in that the date palm tree is a tree that gives benefit. The whole tree is beneficial, and the believer is supposed to be beneficial. You guys are traveling together, 30 people. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, khairun nas anfa'uhum lin nas. The best one here is the one who brings benefit to the others. That's the best one in this group. خيركم من تعلم القرآن وعلمه. The best one is the one who memorized the Quran and then taught it to other people. So in the 30 Shabab group, who is the one who is cleaning up the Airbnb? Who is the one who's helping to cook? Who is the one who's serving the food? Who is the one who's benefiting the group? And who is the one who's like a spoiled baby, always the one getting from people? Give me, give me, give me, give me, help me, help me. This masjid is a community. The best person in this masjid is the one who gives the most money to help Al-Islam. It's the one who comes in and he cleans up the carpet. He's the one who goes to the toilet, akramakumullah, cleans up the toilet, making the toilet presentable for Jummah and stuff like that. Remember this. You guys, you're Hoya, or you got Hoya. That's your mother. The best one here is the one who helps his mother, helps his father. Not the one who's the heaviest one. He's the one who's the sahib of mashakin. He grew up and it's just his Hoya. That's it. She's the mother of 5 kids. And this knucklehead doesn't bring nothing to the table except drama and problems to his mother. That's all. She has 5 kids to worry about. 5. He wants a new pair of Air Jordans. You say, oh, give me a pair of new. She said, I can't afford it. There are other kids. And he gives her a problem. No, the best one is the one who brings benefit to others. Whether it's this group, whether it's your family, whether it's your community that you're going back to. So that's how the believers like the date palm tree. So if you can imagine, this is the date palm tree in the desert. The Arabs would sit under this tree to get shade from the sun, benefit. The Arabs would cut this tree down, and the trunk of the tree, they would make it for firewood. They would make from it furniture. The date palm tree, the green, the leaves, they would take that stuff off and make fans with it and make other things with it. Put it in their roof and tie up the stuff on the roof. You take the dates of the date palm tree, you eat them joints. You take the dates of the date palm tree, the bad ones, you give it to your animals. You take the seed of the date, you plant it, and it'll grow another tree. Everything about that tree is beneficial. And that's how the believer is supposed to be. Don't be a bum. Don't be a bum. That's the point. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the date palm tree, and dates in Al-Islam are important. I came into Al-Islam in 1986. After wilding out and being in the streets, I never heard of a date in my life prior to becoming a Muslim in the month of Ramadan. And then I saw the people eating dates. I was like, nah, I don't want them dates. I wasn't into the dates, but they grew on me. And if you're a Muslim, dates are going to have something to do with your life. Anybody here know what a tahniq is? Anybody here know what a tahniq is? What's your name, homie? Adam, what's tahniq? When the baby is born in Al-Islam, you take that baby and you take some of the date and chew it and you put it in the baby's mouth so that the first thing that the baby is eating is from the barakah of the tamr. because in that tamar is benefit. Why in the story of Maryam, when Maryam had the baby, she was commanded, go to the date palm tree and shake it, and the dates are going to come down and you eat those dates to replenish the blood loss that she had after giving childbirth. The date is barakah. Prophet Muhammad said any house that doesn't have dates is a house that's poor. If you are a Muslim who lives in Greenland, if you're a Muslim, you live in Norway, where it's cold, you live in Alaska, you're a Muslim, you're going to be connected to those dates because it's a part of our religion. So why they were mentioned in the Quran, they were mentioned in the Sunnah. So the first thing is that the date is beneficial and the belief is beneficial. Now I know you guys are traveling today, inshallah, but who gave benefit to the group more than anyone? Was it just Abdul Malik because he's organizing? It's just Abdul Malik? No, just the regular people. You're supposed to also bring your piece of the puzzle to the table. Second thing, this is important. The believer is like the date palm tree in that all of the date palms are not the same, man. They are different. Dates are different. You guys heard of the Ajwa date? The Ajwa date is a date if you eat 7 of those dates in the morning, especially the ones of Medina. He said the Ajwa Medina, if you eat 7 of those, you won't be afflicted with magic. No one can put sihr on you. There's those little round black ones. There's the date that is sukkari. You put them in the freezer. Eat them with that kahwa, frozen. They're the dates from Tunis and Morocco. And you have the dates from Africa. You know, the ones that break your teeth. They got worms in them. They're not all the same. And the believers are not all the same. I look in this audience, all of you cats are not the same. That one is from Dawood. That one over there is from Isaac. That one is from Ismail. That one is from Mogadishu. That one is tall. That one is short. That's a boy. That's a girl. That one over there is muta'allim. That one over there is ummi, la yaqra, la yaktub, jahil. That one is on the spectrum. That one got ADHD. That one got bipolar. This one over here is African American. That one over there is older. That one over there is younger. The date palms are different. So you have to take into consideration the differences that exist between people. This one is the eldest son, and that's the youngest one. That's the oldest daughter. Your older brother is not like you. You have to respect him. Your oldest sister is not like you. You got to look at him a different way. Your father's eldest brother is not like your father's youngest brother, and so forth and so on. So the believers are like that. The alim in your community who knows this religion, the hafiz of the Quran, is not like the one who didn't memorize the Quran. Our mother Aisha, she said, we have been commanded to put people in their proper places. Your mother is not like some normal lady walking down the street. You got to deal with your mother with respect. Your father, even if your father's not married to your mother, he divorced your mother and you didn't grow up with your father for whatever reason, married another woman, whatever, and he neglected you. You got beef in your, I understand that. That's your father. That's your father. So people have to take into consideration the differences that exist between the people. I'm talking to a Somali group of brothers. When I mentioned that this one is Dawood, you started laughing. Non-Somalis sitting here, they say, what are they laughing about? What are they laughing about? Because it's something peculiar to you that you know about. So the Somali Shabab today are not like the Somali Shabab of yesterday, the first generation of Somalis who came to America. And they were just trying to hustle, make money. Now these Somalis today are like the N-words, some of them. They just straight up N-words. Whereas the Somali yesterday, they still were holding on to their culture a little bit. So I'm saying to you guys right now, the believers like the date palm tree. Don't treat your hoyo like you treat your wife. They're not the same. And don't treat the scholar of the community as if he's just some ignorant person. No. Concerning the similarities between the date palm tree and the believer, this is important. Is that date palm, if you look at it, it is a tree that is very flexible. When I lived here in Orlando 25 years ago, and I just had a reunion with some African-American brothers who came back in our community, we all were together 25 years ago. Those brothers have moved on to other parts of America. They all came back. They were here Friday, Saturday. I told Abdul Malik, bring the brothers to breakfast. None of you came. He said, Abu, listen, they're all different. Some of them sleep heavy, and some of them sleep light and they get up early. Others, we got to keep pushing them to get up. And I respect that. I make Hajj, Umrah with a group like this. Some people are always ready to go. Hey guys, we're going to go to Ziyara. They're always ready. But you always have those slow pokes who always sleep late. They don't want to go. They give you a hard time. You always have that. But anyway, as it relates to the similarities, just these last two and I'm done, and there are many, inshallah, is that the date palm tree is flexible. Mahmoud will tell you, that's my African-American brother over there, Sheikh Abdul Hadi. They'll tell you, 20-something years ago, 25 years ago, there was a hurricane that came here. And as you know, this weather here is like Somali. It's nice weather. But you got to be careful of snakes out here and alligators, man. These alligators will give you a run for your money. So you better keep your eyes open. Anywhere there's water, anything like that, even when the rain comes down, you better look under cars because these alligators are not a joke in Florida. They will deal with you. And the hurricanes, we just had a hurricane recently, about a month ago, hurricane. This area a few years ago was flooded out, flooded. The water came all the way up inside the Masjid. So those Native Americans, those Indians, this is where they used to live. They used to handle this stuff out here. Florida is one of those countries where the Native Americans are. Minnesota as well. They went all the way to Minnesota. And I was in Minnesota, man, and it's cold in Minnesota. I don't know how Africans can live in Minnesota. I don't know. When I went to Minnesota, I saw those buildings are connected by the pathways where you walk from one building because it's so cold. Minnesota is cold. Then I see some of those white people, they go watch the Minnesota Vikings play and they don't have their clothes on. And then we have Somalis out there. Who does that? And I'm going to come to that, inshallah. Flexible. They were saying on the news, everybody leave your house, come to the local gym. Leave your house, come to the local armory. I was like, what? I don't know. I ain't leaving my house. People come up in my spot and rob my house. I ain't leaving nothing. So we stayed in the crib. The hurricane was bigger than the size of Texas. It was big. And I was afraid. It was like Yom Kippur was going to happen. I was afraid the way they was doing it on the news. And I never saw anything like that. When the hurricane came through Florida, Orlando, it ripped everything apart. Next morning, I went outside. Tractor trailers were thrown over there. Houses were blown apart. The roofs were off. It was crazy everywhere. And the palm trees, they were leaning to the right. They were leaning to the left, to the front and the back. But none of them were uprooted. They blow with the wind. They're flexible. They blow with the wind. The believer has to be flexible. Life is not going to go the way you want it to go all the time, homie. There's a group of 30 people. 30 people. We want to make a decision. Do we go to the Masjid to see the brother in the Masjid Sunnah? Half say yeah, half say no. 30 people. Do we do this? Do we do that? Where you going to sit in the van? You have to be flexible, man. Life doesn't go the way you want. And you're all young. You're going to get married. You're going to get married. When you get married, and we're all alpha men. We're alpha men. We're not simps, not punks, not chumps. We're alpha men. But does that mean that you never take your wife's side of the story? You never give her point of view? In your family, you got 4 or 5 other siblings. It's all not always what you want. There are other kids who have to consider that. Your mother, your father, consider that. And when it doesn't go your way in this trip, it doesn't go your way. You get upset, pissed off. You become a problem, a baby. There are other people, man, part of the group. Other people. This one over here, that brother over there, he has a little bit of weight. That brother over there, he just came off of a foot surgery. That brother over there, he's just practicing. That one over there, but you have to consider, it ain't all about you, me, myself, and I. You're on the Sunnah. You're a practicing brother. Everybody ain't practicing up here. Everybody in the house practicing? No. So here you come, like some of these crazy kids from Somalia who have been affected by this Madkhaliya stuff. You're practicing. And then you start making tabdi of everybody in the community. Everybody ain't on the same level. Gotta take it easy, man. So the believer is flexible. You cannot always go against the wind, man. Sometimes you have to disengage. You just have to allow things because you don't have the ability to change it. So as an African American, the popo, the feds, they stopped me in a car. And they roll up to the car and ask me for my driver's license. And I start saying, you profiling me? Who you think you know? I'm just going to talk to him like that. And then he's going to take out his gat and blast me in my face. I'm not going to do that. I got to take in consideration, these people will kill you. You better take it easy. You're in your job. You better take it easy before you lose your job. But does that mean that you have to apologize and acquiesce? Doesn't mean that. Last thing that I want to mention, Shaboob, is the date palm tree is I want you to translate this because that's something I like about the Somali community as well. That is, Somali people, unlike African Americans, unlike Pakistanis, Desis, unlike Bangladeshis, unlike people from Guyana and Trinidad, you have a history in Arabic language. Somalis have Arabs and Arab blood in them. That's why they like camels and camel meat and camel milk. If I drink camel milk, I'm done. I'm finished. And we have a spot you can get real camel meat, camel milk that comes from Minnesota. The cat up there in Minnesota, too, Somali guys have a factory. They ship out camel's meat, camel's milk all over America. They made it come up on something that their people like. That's what you got to do. You got to come up with some cutting-edge, innovative way of clocking dollars without being a criminal. Like those Somali people who doing COVID in Minnesota. I'm not going to say no more. I ain't going to say no more. You know what I'm talking about. See, Mahmoud, he has an engineering degree, mashallah, real smart. And Mahmoud, he like, well, okay, what they talking about? What? He doesn't know. I don't even have to say the rest of the story. So be innovative, man, and make money. You don't have to beat the system. You don't have to lie. You don't have to put yourself in a situation where you're going to go to prison. Listen, I'm going to say this in Arabic. I want you guys to translate it. About the date palm tree. The date palm tree. An-nakhlatu asbaru shajaratin fid dunya. An-nakhla. date palm tree, asbaru shajaratin fid dunya. Translate that for me. Good job, my man. The date palm tree has the most sabr than any other tree in the dunya. Date palm tree in Somalia, it doesn't rain. That date palm tree is up, brother. There's a drought in Arabia, wherever, in the desert. That date palm tree, without any water, just like the camel, that date palm tree is going to live. It has sabr. The believer has to have sabr, yo. He has to have sabr being young. And he wants to get married. I have a student. We went to the Walmart the other day together. And when we were walking through the Walmart, we walked through the area where the mannequins were selling women's underwear and things like that. He's young, 18 years old. When he went in that area and I was looking at him and he was looking at the mannequin, you know the mannequin was selling women's like underwear. Just the mannequin had him like off the square. He's laughing. Just the mannequin. The mannequin ain't even real, man. So what about Cardi B and all that stuff and what they be doing with the hip hop, and you expose yourself to that? Here in Florida, you see how these women dress? You have to have sabr, man. You have to have sabr. Don't go on the internet looking for that stuff. Porno. Don't look at that music, those women. Don't look at that. At this age, you have to have sabr. He said to the people, Ya ma'ashar al-shabab, man istata'a minkum al-ba' falyasum, falyatazawwaj. You young people who have the ability to get married, get married. And any of you who don't have the ability, then fast. You gotta have sabr, ya akhi. You tried to marry that girl, her parents don't like you because you're from another tribe. Her parents don't want you for a reason of the dunya. You like her, you digging her, she dig. Yahi, have sabr. She's not the last person. There are many fish in the ocean. Your father, he dealt with you like that. Your mother, you gotta have patience, brother. You're trying to memorize. You have good days, you have bad days. You have to have sabr, brother. You graduated from university, but you didn't get a gig yet. You didn't get a job yet. You have to have sabr. Something hits you. Fitna, a musibah hits you. Now you're going to say, oh, Allah, why Allah do this to me? I'm an apostate. I'm going to leave Islam. Why me? Is it permissible for those Palestinians to say, we don't believe in Allah anymore because look what's happening to us? Can they say that? And they being taken through the ringer. They can't apostate. They got to have patience. And they have to have flexibility. They can't break. You fast in Ramadan, your iman goes up. After Ramadan, your iman goes down. The iman is like that, up and down. The dunya is like that, good and bad. You can't give up. Got to be patient. No one was given anything better than sabr, especially for young people. And this is one of the benefits of this type of trip. Young people coming together. This is not just about ikhwani. This is not just about let's go and enjoy Florida. That's part of it. This is more about you guys supporting each other, strengthening each other, being with each other. You come into the masjid right now on this trip. You carve out a piece of the trip to come to the masjid. That's how your life has to be. Can't be all about siyaha and partying and what's siyaha again? Life is not about party all the time. You gotta somehow every day, 5 times a day, fix your deen in there. You gotta have patience. That was gonna be the last one that I was gonna say, but I have to mention this one because it's really important. It's really important. Really important. It's the last one. Because this is one of the things I really respect about Somali community. That date palm tree, like this right here, it's a date palm tree. Is the date palm tree just on top of the earth like this? Huh? if it just falls over, the date palm tree has under it roots, baby. It has roots. Jadhur, usul, has roots. What is the roots? The believer is like the date, he has roots. Roots says two things. Number one is important, but the second one is more important. Roots is under there, he has his father, his grandfather, his grandfather's father, his father's 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 father. I remember when I started giving dawah in Masjid, Abu Huraira there in Canada, the other masjid there, Abu Bakr, I think it's called, Khalid ibn Walid, Bashir. When I first started giving dawah, the Somali Shabab back there, hey boy, come here. What's your name? He said, my name is Abdullah Hassan Abdullahi, blah, 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 blah. He just went on and on and on and on. He was able to mention 15, 20, 25 of his ajdad. I used to find that impressive because I know my grandfather on my mother's side, my grandfather on my father's side, and that's it. I don't know their fathers because of slavery. They took us from West Africa and brought us here, stole our language, stole our deen, al-Islam, stole our culture. But the Somali, he still has his culture. Little boy, come here. What's your name? Dude would say, my name is Khulaid ibn Fulan, 25, 30 people. He doesn't know those people, but his father made sure that he knew their names. That's his roots, man. What's your jinsiyah? What's your nationality? I'm Somali American. Not I'm a European. I'm not white. I ain't got nothing against white people. But I'm not white. Our kids grow up in this society and they lost who they are. They lost their language, lost their deen, lost their culture, and they're embarrassed about that. The believer has jadhur, where you come from. I know my aunties from my mother's side, that's part of your religion. That's the first meaning of roots. Second meaning of roots, and this is more important, usul. The date palm tree has usul, you know, those roots. In your religion, you have to have usul. You have to know your religion. Your religion can't be based upon hocus pocus, khurafat and bid'ah and shirkiyat. Your religion has to be based upon knowledge. Who is Allah? Where is Allah? What he does, what he doesn't do, what's the sunnah? Is the sheikh the dalil? The sheikh said. And because the sheikh said we got to give it that program, we don't have to give it that program because the sheikh said. Our religion is, where is the dalil? Where's the proof? And that's what your religion has to be. Because this thing about Sufism is a challenge with the Somali community. We're going to make the dhikr of Allah come into the masjid and clone out the lights, and we're just going to sit there, Allah, 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 Allah. We say, where you get that from? There's no usul from that. You're just making stuff up. So make sure that the religion that you guys on as Muslim, it makes sense, and it can go back to the source of al-Islam that the Prophet brought, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, Ikhwani, we're going to stop here, inshallah. Let you brothers out of here. I want all of you to give love to our elder, Mahmoud Abu Sarah, because he didn't have to be